What's up, guys? Thanks for checking out the video. I really appreciate everyone watching this one as well as the last one. I didn't realize people were actually going to watch that video that much. So the fact that it's got the amount of views, it's gotten all the comments and stuff is super tight. I'm trying to keep up with everything. So keep sending me emails and stuff. That's super cool that everyone's interested. And yeah, I'll be back with like a normal video that'll help everyone probably later this week. But this one's just going to be based on people shipping guitars. Because the biggest video requests I got after the last one was, how do you ship guitars? What's the best thing to do? How do you go about reselling them? Because it's not as easy as everything else. So luckily I'm like decently experienced in it now since I've done quite a few guitars. So I'm going to talk about what I do and what might help you guys get a little better shipping rates, as well as make sure the guitar arrives in good shape, and how to do your listings properly so your guitars don't look terrible. So yeah, let's do it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is the box. This is something I mentioned in my last video, and I think I described it really badly. Basically, the box needs to be under 84 inches, I believe it is, so it falls under like regular priority mail or whatever. Once it goes over that threshold, it will then go into freight, I believe, and basically it just gets more expensive. So if you can find a box like this, usually the ones that are a bit thinner, like this one, tend to fall into it. Like this is 4 inches. So that makes it a lot easier. And also, you're probably not shipping a bass, and if you are, you'll need a bigger box. But if you're not, and you're just shipping a guitar like we are today, then try to get one that fits a guitar and not a bass or an acoustic guitar or whatever, because that'll get you a smaller box, and that will help make sure it doesn't get too big or whatever. And it also means you have to pack it a little bit less, which we're about to go into. So yeah, this is going to be the first method on how to pack a guitar. So the best way to get these boxes is to go to your local music store or local guitar center and ask for a box. Usually they'll either charge you a few dollars for one, or they'll hook you up with a free one if they have a bunch, but luckily I have a store that hooks me up, so that's all I need. And so for this first method, we're going to talk about just using this box and a bunch of packing, and how to make sure that it's safe with that. So the first thing you want to do is get a bunch of bubble wrap out and lay it out under the guitar. I actually had to tape a few pieces together to get it to look like this. And it's better to use the bigger bubbles, but I only have the stuff that's like a bit smaller today, so we're just going to use that. So yeah, basically what you're going to do is you're going to just take the wrap, go over one way, go over the other way, and you're going to tape it really, really tight. You're going to do this all the way along the guitar, and yeah, I'll show you what it looks like in just a second. So now that we've got it wrapped up, it's going to look like this. A lot of these boxes will come with something like this in the top and bottom, and that's really helpful because you can actually just set that guitar in it when you put it in the box. So we're going to do that right now, since there's already one of those in here. Just take your guitar, put it in the top box. That was the most unprofessional thing I've ever shot. And now you got it in there. And now what you're going to want to do is just completely pack it with newspaper, bubble wrap, all that good stuff, which I don't really have a surplus of right now, so I'm not going to do that at the moment. But then you're just going to take the other piece and make sure it's in there, get all the way down to the guitar, pack the top with wrap, and then seal it up, and you're good to go. But again, make sure that you pack it when you go like that. It should not shake around at all. It should be all the way in there. So here's how to finish up that, and now I'm going to show the better way to do it if you have the right materials. So some of these boxes, you'll get lucky and they'll come with these more triangular shaped boxes inside of them, and they fit the guitar perfectly. I was super spoiled and they already came with like foam packing as well as this, so we're going to wrap that up and it'll fit really tight. One thing I wanted to go over was you need to make sure that whenever you ship out a guitar, you detune it, so it's all the way up right now. Go all the way down. You don't want to take the strings off because you want it to be really easy for the next owner to just pick it up and play it, but yeah, you need to get every single string like that. And if you don't do that, then it's going to have tension on the neck, and usually when it ships, it's going to go through a bunch of places that are going to be really, really hot, so you don't want it to get hot and bow the neck. That would be really bad, so don't do that. Make sure it's completely detuned before you ship it out, just to be safe. Now that we've got it completely detuned, it should just yeah, nothing going on there. So that shouldn't pull the neck at all when it gets hot. So it should be good to go. They should just tune it up and they'll be ready to play it. So I just took the really light foam wrap and I covered the guitar in that, and then I filled all the voids with a little bit of bubble wrap. You honestly don't even need to do that, but since guitars can be, you know, over $1,000 if you're doing the right ones, it's worth going the extra mile to make sure everything shows up in good shape. So now I know, like, this isn't going anywhere and it's not going to get scratched or banged around or anything. So now that we have it like that, just take the top piece, throw it on there, and you can even tape this closed just to be extra safe. Now you're just going to want to drop that little box into your bigger box and then fill all the void with packing paper. Then you're going to take that little divider thing I showed before and you're just going to put that on top here. You can I have no idea if you can see what's going on, but yeah, just get that in there. Once that's in, just tape it up, seal it up, make sure it's nice and tight, and then we can ship it. So we got the label printed and it ended up costing $35 via UPS, more than I usually pay, but it's going to the other coast, so as expected, it'll cost a little bit more. To the people that pay like 60, 70, 80 just to ship it regionally, I don't even know what you're doing, but don't do that. You know, it shouldn't be more than 40 bucks. So yeah, that's good to go. That's ready to ship out. And real quick before into the video, I just wanted to go through a quick checklist on stuff you should do before you list the guitar so it'll actually look good and sell. And the first thing is to make sure it has fresh strings. These strings are pretty fresh, so you want to make sure they're new. You want to make sure it has all the strings. If it doesn't have all the strings, then restring the entire guitar. If you don't know how to restring a guitar, take it to your local guitar shop. It's usually about $10, and that way also they can tell you if it really needs to be like set up or whatever, and they can appraise it from there. Anytime you're selling a guitar for more than $100, it should be shipping out, ready to go. If you're selling a really cheap guitar, it's not as big of a deal, but you definitely are going to get a lot more if it's ready to play. As this one is. This is not something I'm selling. It's just a 2004 Fender Standard Tele from my personal collection. So I love this guitar. Always make sure it's clean. This is pretty clean. And yeah, that's actually about it. Just make sure there's no stickers on it. Make sure it can play. If you're not a guitarist, then find a friend who is, who can at least look it over for you. You know, I don't want to buy a guitar from someone who's just a reseller and doesn't know anything about them, so I would rather buy one from someone who knows what they're talking about. So at least consult someone who knows what they're talking about before you try to sell, you know, a $200, $300, $400, $500 guitar or whatever it is. And yeah, that's about it. If you guys have any questions, drop them below or shoot me an email. I appreciate everybody checking out this video, and I hope it helped. You guys have a good rest of your weekend or whatever you got going on.